From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN Noon News.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us on your MTN Statewide News this Wednesday. I'm Jeanelle Slade. Well, COVID-19 once again wipes out its own record as the state confirms 733 new cases across Montana today. However, MTN reports that number includes more than 200 cases in Missoula County we reported yesterday. Now, if we go by the 700 plus, that topples yesterday's record of 504. However, MTN News reports the death toll across the state does remain at 200. There are now just over 5,000 active cases and nearly 16,000 total confirmed cases. More than 10,500 people have recovered in Montana. Well, the Missoula City County Health Department is cracking down on local and state coronavirus mandates. COVID Incident Commander Cindy Farr says in light of the county's recent spike in cases, her team will conduct unannounced inspections of bars and restaurants during high business hours. A large portion of those cases are in the 20 to 29-year-old age range. Farr says they have to boost their enforcement, especially at establishments where that younger population works and frequents. Since the onset of the pandemic in March, Farr's team has responded to hundreds of complaints about violations.
While the majority of those locations were in good compliance with distancing, occupancy, and face covering requirements, several establishments were issued warning letters. Failure to comply with COVID-19 restrictions may result in further restrictions, closures, or referral to prosecution based on upcoming follow-up inspections.
Missoula County Health Department just rolled out a new website solely focused on COVID information. You can check that out at missoula-info.com. It's time now to check in with meteorologist Ed McIntosh, who is looking really high in the sky today. Ed, out of this world.
That's for sure. It's exactly what we're going to do as we have the Crackdown meteor shower that's going to start to stack up for tonight. Now, this is one of those that you have to show a little patience. The good news is it's a lot more convenient as far as the hours. Usually we're talking about the overnight hours, and tonight through the evening after sunset's the best chance to check it out. Now, it's only around about 5 per hour, so get away from the city lights, use some patience, give some time for your eyes to adjust to the night sky. And if you don't pick up that on meteors, well, you can still check out Mars and Venus. They're very bright in the overnight sky. Back with a look at a forecast, a very busy forecast coming up next.
All right, thanks so much, Ed. Well, just yesterday, President Trump instructed his team to stop negotiations with Democrats over a new coronavirus stimulus package until after the election. But already today, the president is changing his tune and says he'll sign off on a smaller deal. Deborah Alfarone has more details from the White House.
President Trump urged Congress to move fast on a standalone bill that would send out $1,200 stimulus checks to millions of Americans. That's a big change from Tuesday when he called off negotiations with Democrats over a broader stimulus package.
It became very obvious over the last couple of days that a comprehensive bill was just going to get to a point where it didn't have really much Republican support at all. It was more of a Democrat-led bill.
Democrats have rejected past attempts at limited bills, saying the need is too great to pick and choose. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell agrees.
Too little support would lead to a weak recovery, creating unnecessary hardship for households and businesses.
Complicating any negotiations is the fact that the president is still recovering from coronavirus, less than a week after announcing that he tested positive.
Obviously, with the president, he continues to work. We've got a number of safety protocols with full PPE, masks, goggles, and the like.
Presidential advisor Stephen Miller is the latest White House staffer or visitor to test positive for the coronavirus. Scientists say the number of infections and deaths will continue to grow exponentially.
We're forecasting quite a substantial winter surge in the U.S. and across the northern hemisphere.
And a vaccine will likely not come as quickly as President Trump had hoped after the FDA announced tough new standards before it will approve a vaccine. President Trump is not happy, tweeting new FDA rules make it more difficult for them to speed up vaccines for approval before Election Day. Just another political hit job. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News, the White House.
And the White House Coronavirus Task Force now says the number of coronavirus deaths in America will likely jump from more than 210,000 deaths to more than 470,000 by the end of the year. Well, Montana's U.S. Senate race has likely broken the state record for spending on a single campaign. With almost 4 weeks to go, Senator Steve Daines and his challenger, Governor Steve Bullock, have already dropped north of $75 million. Combined, the candidates have aired more TV ads since Labor Day weekend than any Senate contest in the entire country. Outside groups have spent $55 million, $29 million for Bullock, and just under $26 for Daines. The old spending record was set in 2018 when Senator John Tester held on to defeat Matt Rosendale. Republicans who filed a lawsuit to stop widespread mail voting in Montana are now asking the U.S. Supreme Court to get involved. A federal judge in Missoula last week ruled against the Republican lawsuit, saying there is no evidence of voter fraud connected to mail voting. The GOP plaintiffs then appealed to the case to the 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals and asked it to stop Montana counties from sending out mailed ballots this week. The appeals court rejected that request on Tuesday, and now Republicans have asked the U.S. Supreme Court to step in. Plans to hear the case are set to begin early next year. And the U.S. Elections Project reports more than 3.8 million Americans have already cast their ballots. At this time in 2016, that number was at 75,000. Well, University of Montana students are looking to help save lives of their other students by working a bit around the campus rules. Now, a new Good Samaritan policy allows a student in need of emergency medical attention or another person to call for assistance with no threat of disciplinary action due to the university alcohol or drug policies. Now, students would still be held accountable for other offenses like disorderly conduct or vandalism if committed. Student government will now send the changes to UM administration for approval. A Montana National Guardsman is recognized as one of the Guard's best warriors. Sergeant Donald Swan received a Meritorious Service Medal in a ceremony at Fort Harrison. During the Best Warrior competition, soldiers are tested on their physical fitness, proficiency with firearms, navigation, and other skills. Swan says it's an honor to represent the Montana National Guard.
Being able to hone those skills in and refine them and take those skills to a national level and know that the skills that you're applying are going up against the 6 other higher tiered individuals in the nation, it speaks louder than words.
Swan says he could not have accomplished this without the support of his wife, who is also a member of the Guard. Up next on your new news is the catch of the day that has researchers talking. Wait until you find out the size of this shark. But first, meteorologist Ed McIntosh is in next with your statewide weather forecast.